Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And Happy New Year, because by the time you watch this...
It'll probably be 2017. Unless
Yeah.
it's 2018, in which case, we really forgot to post this thing.
Yeah, we're recording this 6:43 p.m. Central Standard Time on December 31st, 2016.
The end of 2016.
Oh, well. Screw 2016. Anyways. Today we're reviewing Battle of Gods. Well, Dragonball Battle of Gods.
Yeah, there might be some other shows with some gods battling as far as we know.
Okay, so before we get into this,
Titans,
just super quick history of Dragon Ball. As in universe, not like I'm not going to recount.
I'm going to go with the super quick history is... the end.
Oh.
that's the core of Dragon Ball.
More of Z. But okay. History of Dragon Ball starts about years and years and years ago when a little monkey boy is living alone in the middle of nowhere with a shrine to his dead grandfather. All of a sudden, a car comes up and a girl comes out and shoots him in the head.
Oh, wow. That was the end of that.
No, because turns out that the little monkey boy's name is Goku. And he's super strong and just super strong, basically, and bulletproof and stuff.
Did she know that before she shot him in the head?
She did not.
Wow, what the hell is her problem?
I don't know, but this is a comedy series, so we're going to assume.
I'm just going to have to see this now to figure out the context.
Granted, he did wreck her car, so,
okay.
It wasn't unprovoked.
It just seemed like an escalation, a car versus shooting someone in the head.
Well, he thought it was a monster, so he wrecked it. And given this is a world where dinosaurs are roaming in the wilderness, this is an entirely reasonable reaction on his part.
It's reasonable for him to wreck the car. I'm saying she was the one who was over the top shooting somebody.
Hey, if you saw a kid suddenly wreck your car,
I would not shoot him in the head.
Well, I'd assume he was coming for me next.
Oh, I see. You should read... What was that guy? His name was Convict in this one epic DC saga. Oh, anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so what happens next is after Goku basically shrugs off bullets, she tells him that her name is Bulma, and she's looking for these things called Dragon Balls. He has a Dragon Ball. It's his grandfather's most prized possession.
Is that why she shot him in the head?
Well, admittedly, it's 1/7 of a magical system that will grant you any wish you want. So.
Well, you're still a jerk, Bulma, but go ahead.
Okay, well, they become close friends and stuff.
Okay.
It's a comedy series.
It's a comedy series.
So that's kind of where it starts off. Bulma and Goku decide to look for the Dragon Balls together and get their wish granted. I'm not super familiar with early Dragon Ball. So primarily their first antagonists are called the Pilaf Gang. We'll talk about them later. Led by Emperor Pilaf, a child who I don't really know why he's considered an emperor. I think it's just a self-granted title.
Like the King of Town.
Yes, like the King of Town.
Or 20th anniversary recently, you guys. Homestar Runner.
Or Coach Z.
Or Coach Z. I guess he kind of coaches sometimes.
Yeah, when does he coach? There's no team.
You did a great job there, Homestar.
Yeah, but that's kind of overwritten by everything else he does ever.
It's a mystery for the ages.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. Yep, that's right up there with Loch Ness Monster and Second Gunman on the Grassy Knoll. Okay, so Pilaf and his gang try to get a hold of the Dragon Balls to take over the world. They fail. End of first season. Like I said, I'm going super fast.
That's good.
He eventually decides to start learning under Master Roshi, the Turtle Hermit.
Is he actually a turtle?
No, he has a turtle on his island, though.
Okay.
And Goku does at one point mistake the turtle for Master Roshi, because all he knows is this guy's called the Turtle Hermit, and let's face it, this is the Dragon Ball universe. There is weirder shit going on. Mm-hmm. And he learns from Master Roshi, and he meets his friend Krillin, who is a bald monk, who is a midget, like he's 3 feet tall, or something, I don't know. Anyways, moving along, he fights the Red Ribbon Army, who kind of suck at fighting him because they're just normal guys with guns fighting against a guy who's immune to bullets. So
not a good combination.
Yeah. He beats Demon King Piccolo and his offspring, just regular Piccolo, and we move on to Z. Like I said, I'm really plowing through this.
That's okay.
In between Z and Original and Z, he married his childhood friend, Chi-Chi, And when Z starts, he's just had a kid named Gohan, named after his grandfather. And he's arrived at Master Roshi's house in order to show off, hey, here's my son. And then his brother shows up. It turns out that his brother is an alien, and by that logic, so is Goku. They're part of a dying race known as the Saiyans, a group of intergalactic super warriors who basically curb stomp anything that they come across. Goku can't beat his brother named Raditz, and so he enlists the help of Piccolo, and he and Raditz both die in the attempt. He goes to heaven, where he trains with a guy named King Kai. Wow. In the meantime, it turns out that Raditz contacted his bosses, the Prince of All Saiyans and his attaché, Nappa. The Prince of All Saiyans is Vegeta. All the other warriors on the Earth gather to try to fight off the Saiyans, but it doesn't really work, and they kind of get wrecked. Until Goku shows up, and he also gets wrecked, but in doing so, he drives off Vegeta because Vegeta team killed Nappa. Vegeta came to Earth to try to get the Dragon Balls to acquire immortality for himself, but once he figures out he can't do that because Piccolo and the guy who controls the Dragon Balls, a guy named Kami, are linked psychically. If one dies, the other dies. And if Kami dies, that means the Dragon Balls go bye-bye.
In which way is Kami in charge of the Dragon Balls?
He created them, and his life force is what allows them to exist.
Oh.
He doesn't control what wishes can be made on them.
Yeah, this is not the name of the actual dragon you're talking here, right? Or are we talking?
No, Kami is...
Kami is just the guy who makes the balls that summon the dragon.
Yes.
Separate from the dragon.
The dragon's name is Shenlong, or Shenron, or depends on where you come from. It's revealed that there is a... So everyone's really bummed because since Piccolo's dead, they can't use the balls to bring their friends back to life. But they hear that Vegeta let slip that the Piccolo and Kami were of a race known as the Namekians. And so they go into space to try to find Namek, where there are other Dragon Balls. Unfortunately, Vegeta accidentally also let slip to a bad guy named Lord Frieza, hey, there's these things that can grant you immortality or any other wish you want. So guess what Frieza's going to Namek to do? This leads into the Namek arc, which is one of the longest and darkest arcs in the entire franchise. And they learn that Frieza was the one who destroyed planet Vegeta, the homeworld of the Saiyans. Vegeta is killed there, but brought back by the balls. And Goku, in confronting Frieza, loses some friends, and then he turns into the legendary Super Saiyan. He takes a year getting back to Earth. Some filler stuff happens in the meantime, and it turns out that Frieza didn't die. Oh, noes! But as soon as he gets to Earth, he and his father, King Cold, are one-shotted by this new mysterious Saiyan who can also go Super Saiyan. And it turns out that he's from the future, and his name is Trunks, and he's Bulma and Vegeta's son. And he's come back in time to warn them about a threat that's coming. These things called androids. Ooh. He'll be back in 3 years' time. Goku comes back. It revealed that he was out training in space, but now he's back, and they're going to spend the next 3 years training. Enter the Android Saga. When stuff happens, they start to fight the androids. Unfortunately, Goku nearly dies from a heart virus because he didn't take his medicine or something that Trunks gave him specifically to prevent this exact scenario from happening. What happens next is that the two initial androids are Android 19 and 20, also known as Dr. Gero, the guy who built the androids and wants revenge on Goku for destroying the Red Ribbon Army, remember I mentioned them, and killing his son, who was part of the Red Ribbon Army.
So one of the androids is named Dr. Gero, who created himself?
He's a brain in a jar.
As
I was getting that. Sorry. Like I said, I'm speeding through these. Vegeta shows up at this point because Vegeta stole a spaceship and flew away to train in space to become a Super Saiyan himself because he has an ego roughly this size.
Challenge and fighting and fighting and challenge and fight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know Stinko Man?
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, never mind. I don't like Stinko Man.
Aww.
But anyways, Vegeta has an ego roughly the size of a minor solar system, and he can't believe that people have beat him, so he kills Android 19, and unfortunately, Android 20, Dr. Gero, gets away and tries to activate Androids 17 and 18 because they're really powerful and stuff, and they'll help him kill these pesky Saiyans and intruders and track down Son Goku and get their revenge. Unfortunately, 17 and 18 kind of fucking hate him, and they murder his ass. Then they activate Android 16 and they run away to try to find Goku to murder him. Because reasons. Also, 16 is the only one who's an android of this group. 17 and 18 are actually orphans who were taken off the street, and they were turned into cyborgs. But everyone calls them androids for absolutely no reason.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's about this time that people start hearing reports of entire cities going missing. They, of course, think that this might be due to the killer androids who are running around and causing havoc and stuff. But no, it's a new threat named Cell. Another thing from the future. He's Dr. Gero's final creation. So he comes back, and he's here to absorb 17 and 18 so he can become his perfect form. He does this. Goku decides to fuck off. Cell tries to kill himself. It doesn't work.
What? Okay.
Well, actually, no, Cell doesn't... Actually, I'm not really sure what happens at this point. 100%. All I know is that Gohan becomes Super Saiyan 2 and manages to destroy Cell once and for all. 7 years pass where Goku decides he doesn't want to be brought back to life. However, they are able to bring 17 and 18 back to life. Android 18 actually marries Krillin, and they have a child together.
Okay, that's convoluted. But I'm sure that made sense in context.
It's Toriyama. It may or may not make sense in any context. Remember what this movie's about, mind you.
Yes.
So 7 years pass. Goku has achieved a new form called Super Saiyan 3, and they arrive on Earth just as these bad guys are starting to summon a monster known as Majin Buu. I'm skipping a lot here again, like Babidi or Vegeta promising his soul and stuff.
Have you watched all this, or you just read all the summaries?
I watched some of it while I was, back in my teens and stuff. But I also sort of refreshed my memory by way of Team 4-Star and...
Oh, well, yes. They will educate you on that.
Yeah, they actually... DBcember. Check out their DBcember reviews. They... Particularly the first and the 2014 one and the 2016 one where they explain the best villains in Dragon Ball. By the way, the bad guy from this one, Beerus, is number 5 on the list. Frieza is number 1.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so, next point. Majin Buu is this pink blob of goo who turns out that he's not really evil so much as he is kind of just innocent and he doesn't really know right from wrong. Fortunately, Earth's greatest champion is here to save us all. No, not Goku. Mr. Satan.
Mr. Satan.
That's his name in Japanese, and it is just so basic that I can't help but love it more than his English name, which is Hercule.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mr. Satan forms a friendship with Majin Buu while trying to... He's not actually Earth's greatest warrior, but everyone thinks he's the one who killed Cell because of misunderstandings and him being a braggart. So what happens instead is that he tries to get into Majin Buu's good graces, helps make him food, cleans his house, and they start actually becoming friends, and they have a dog, and it's pretty cute and adorable. You can actually see Bee, the dog, in a couple shots in this movie. Eventually, Majin Buu rejects evil and, because he's a blob of goo, expels his evil side from his body, and it takes its own shape.
And starts killing people?
No, then it absorbs Majin Buu's good side and takes its power.
Oh.
And then it starts killing people.
Dang.
With what it calls the human extinction attack. Guess what it does? It renders humanity extinct except for Baba, who is a witch that we last saw in Dragon Ball, and Mr. Satan, because Mr. Satan is awesome. Hail Satan!
Please tell me we went back in time and fixed this.
Yeah, give me some... I'm getting to that. What follows is an ineffectual attempt to defend the Earth.
Defend it. Everyone's already dead.
Well, okay, stop Majin Buu. Fine.
Okay.
Be picky about your words. And eventually the series ends because once they kill Buu, evil Buu, they manage to rescue good Buu and bring everyone back to life except for the really evil ones, which is why Dabra, the leader of the demon realm, I'm skipping a lot, as I said. You're going to notice that's a mantra. And they manage to make sure everyone who's dead stays dead. But Goku also wishes that Buu's evil side would be reborn without the evil inside of his heart. So flash forward 10 years to to the World Martial Arts Tournament, and Goku finds a kid named Majub. Guess who this is? It's evil Majin Buu reborn, but he's good now. And so Goku decides to take him and leaves so that he can go train Majub to be the next defender of the world. That's the end of Dragon Ball. Now, Battle of Gods actually takes place about 2 to 4 years. 4 years after Buu was defeated the first time. Oh, by the way, good Buu was not killed. But before we get into that, just a little history. After that, they had a series called Dragon Ball GT. Unlike Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, this was not based on the manga by Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball. This was entirely created by the anime team that had made the series. So, if you've ever seen anime filler, imagine an entire series of that. And you'll see why people have varying opinions on Dragon Ball GT. There were some really good things, but also some really not good things. Okay, so it was a lackluster entry into the franchise and has largely been declared non-canon by everyone, including Akira Toriyama himself. But the franchise continued on via various movies of sorts, including Fusion Reborn and 1 or 2 others. But the franchise still had potential, and the people who mattered thought this. Oh, not Akira Toriyama, the guy who created it and put all of his energy into it and made it so amazing. No. I mean the producers who wanted more money. So they decided to go all out. Slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Big screen Dragon Ball movie. Something that would blow people's socks off. Something that would get Hollywood itself to sit up and pay attention.
Was it called Evolution?
God damn it, man. I was building up to that. Unfortunately, This was Dragon Ball Evolution, a film that went down about as well as The Last Airbender did.
Ouch. And we mean the live-action version.
The live-action version. It did not go over well. It managed to piss off die-hard Dragon Ball fans, casual Dragon Ball fans, and anyone else who saw it, really, because it was just boring. They were going to make Piccolo white. He's green! Yeah. It is one of the defining traits of the Namekians. They are the color of grass. They are green. It's like the Hulk green. It's like he's talking about the sun and not mentioning that it's bright. But this actually brings up Battle of Gods comes into play, because Akira Toriyama was pissed. He hated Dragon Ball Evolution, hated what it tried to do to his franchise, hated that it was such a betrayal of canon, hated that he was shunted out of the creative position that he was told, oh, you can make creative adjustments to this film. We'll be consulting with you. Nope. No, they wouldn't. They locked him out of the creative process early in the film's thing. In fact, the only reason why Piccolo is green in this one is because the actor who played him was a fan of Piccolo and said, dude, no, you have to make him green. And they had to make him green in post. So you can understand why everyone was pissed. Akira Toriyama decided, no, I'm going to show you assholes how you make a goddamn big screen Dragon Ball film. Except he said it in Moonspeak because he's Japanese.
No, he learned English just for that one sentence.
That would be amusing. Actually, he is known to be a big fan of American films. Like Star Wars. Some of the early Dragon Ball creatures were blatantly Universal movie monsters. Like Android 8 is actually just basically Frankenstein, but brown. And one of the monsters, General Steel, is the Terminator, minus the time travel thing. Actually, Trunks' time travel thing is essentially the Terminator 2, really.
Wow.
Except without... There's androids and time travel and going back in time to stop a terrible future from happening. Yeah. So, anyways... And that brings us to today. The film that Toriyama was working on was Battle of Gods. And when it was released, everyone was happy. Who was a Dragon Ball fan?
Yes.
Because, I'm not picturing Al-Qaeda being happy, but
God.
just like I can't really picture them being.
Everyone except Al-Qaeda was happy.
Nazis weren't happy.
That's a good endorsement, right there.
Anime haters.
Yeah, let's not put them in the same category as Al-Qaeda, shall we?
Yeah, great point. Okay, and here is where our story begins. We begin in space. Thankfully, no pigs. Until later when we see Oolong, who is a talking, walking pig. God damn it, Toriyama! We see the Kais, the Supreme Kais, and Supreme Kais looking really nervous. Supreme Kais are people that I glossed over because it was a minor point. I was just hitting the major plot points. They're basically the caretakers of this universe. And every universe. But, like, these are the ones for this particular universe. We'll get to the universes part later. They're basically God, except they're not, because they're kind of like
they're like underpowered gods.
Sort of, but, like, saying they're underpowered in Dragon Ball is kind of like the Time Lord thing, where they say beings lesser than Time Lords were worshipped as gods. So, like... Oh, he's underpowered in Dragon Ball. That generally still means you have enough power to crack a galaxy in half.
But none of these guys showed up to do anything with Beerus. They were like, stand around and worry.
Yeah, to be fair, it's later revealed in Super, and this is Dragon Ball Super, which is the series that spun off of the movies, sort of. When Battle of Gods and Resurrection F were so popular... they started up a new Dragon Ball series that would be canon, that had Akira Toriyama working with them, called Dragon Ball Super. In fact, the first 16 episodes were just basically recapping Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, its sequel. And there it is revealed that there is a reason why the Kais and the Gods of Destruction do not mix. It's because they have the same sort of relationship that Piccolo and Kami did back in original Dragon Ball. If one is killed... the other dies as well. So they can't really...
fight.
Yeah. I mean, mind you, God of Destruction pretty much has all the power necessary for the fight, but still. Anyways. Then it cuts over to King Kai on his planet in the afterlife. Just accept it. Just accept it. It's Dragon Ball. It's weird. Where Goku is staying and training, and King Kai is going, oh, we can't let him know that Beerus is starting to awaken, the God of Destruction. And then we zoom out into outer space, deep beyond the reaches of the known galaxies, into the farthest corners of the universe, beyond even the demon realm of Makaiosen. Or that might be something else. I might be getting the term mixed up there. And we see a floating upside down pyramid that's segmented and has a giant tree growing out of it, with plenty of planets orbiting it. Just accept it. We're moving on. And we hear loud explosions happening. And we see an elegant Bishonen man walking very, very, very slowly up a spiral ramp.
He's immortal. He's got all the time in the world.
Yeah, but there's explosions, man. There's a time for... I mean, I get that you have all the time in the world, but the world doesn't have all the time for you.
Interesting.
Just because you're immortal doesn't mean you can't walk faster than a glacier, dude. And he goes into... Beerus enters into this room filled with floating... hourglasses. And he asks Beerus to please awaken, because the alarm bombs have started going off.
Yep.
Just roll with it. And we see the God of Destruction, the despair of worlds across the galaxy, Lord Beerus, wearing an oversized nightshirt kind of a thing, a nightcap, and he looks like a bipedal purple cat.
Yay!
I love him already. He also does the walk off the edge and continue walking, and then he feels that there's nothing underneath him, so he falls down thing that Looney Tunes characters love to do. Already I like Beerus. We find out that his assistant is /attaché /teacher /mentor /other things is Whis. And if you haven't noticed this by now, I'm going to make something explicit. Toriyama loves making food puns with his characters. If they're part of a group, they will have a theme to their name. King Piccolo had a group of minions, and all of them were named after instruments, like piano and tambourine. Saiyans, like Goku, well, Goku's original name is Kakarot, but every member of the Saiyan race is named after vegetables. Vegeta, vegetable. Raditz is radish.
Kakarot is carrot.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. In this case, the gods are named after alcohol. Thus, we have Beerus, or beer, for the god of destruction, and Whis, or whiskey, for...
his attaché.
Yes. And we see kind of just normal stuff. I mean, we know he's the bad guy of the film, but he's just waking up, he's just stretching, he's going for breakfast, just talking about shooting the breeze with Whis. And I really like this. I mean, it humanizes the bad guy. I mean, he's a villain. He's the antagonist of the film, but he just feels... he feels more real, you know? Normally in anime or Dragon Ball, all you see of the villains is them sitting back in some gigantic chair with, like, made of spikes and growling about, "No, the ultimate power in the universe will be mine!" And then, like, killing something, or not just doing anything. He's just waking up. Beerus is waking up and he's eating breakfast. How often do you see Darth Vader doing that?
Never.
We never see that in films on any villain. The Emperor. Do you picture the Emperor just like reading the newspaper while he plots his world domination?
Nope.
Do you see the Terminator? Okay, actually no, the Terminator wouldn't need to eat.
Yeah. So.
Okay, but you get my point. He's just shooting the shit with Whis because he's been asleep for 39 years, and he says this is a short sleep because cats. Then he goes on and says, "Hey, what happened with... did Frieza kill Planet Vegeta like I asked him to?" Here's the first hint of how powerful Beerus is. Frieza is widely considered by many fans to be the epitome of Dragon Ball villains. Not in terms of power, because we would later encounter much more powerful beings in the forms of Cell and Majin Buu. But he's still ranked as the highest because of his intimidating presence, his cruelty, how he bows to no one. And here we see that Frieza, the guy who kills planets because they could be a threat to him, bowed before Beerus. Also that Beerus was ultimately just responsible for killing off Goku's entire family.
Yeah, it's
and
weird
Vegeta's.
that they managed to make friends by the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of most of... in fact, a lot of the people there were former villains.
It's a very strong trope in this show, isn't it?
It really is. Members of the Crane School like Tien Shinhan and Chaozu were villains. Yamcha was a bandit who tried to steal from them when they first met.
Bulma shot Goku in the head.
Okay. You are just not going to let that go, are you?
I'm just like, hey, Bulma, it's your birthday. Remember that time when we met and you tried to murder me? Good times.
Okay, it was provoked, man. Also, I think Goku said something about, "Oh my god, it's giving birth to another monster," when Bulma climbed out.
Oh my god. Interesting.
Also, to be fair, he had literally never met a girl before, so... yeah, and he did try to flip up her skirt to see where her tail was. At that time, Goku had a tail. He doesn't now.
No.
Moving on. So Beerus says, "I had a dream about something." And at this point, Whis mentions, "Oh, by the way, Frieza's dead. He was killed by a Saiyan." He's like, "Really? A Saiyan? But how? I thought he killed all of them." No, because he went into a form called Super Saiyan. And this starts to jog Beerus' memory until he remembers the dream he had, a prophetic vision of something that would provide him a suitable challenge in battle. Because this is Dragon Ball, and really that's the only motivation 90% of the characters have.
Yeah, that was the motivation of my original summary there. Ah, boom.
Yeah, but he would... a strong, powerful Saiyan warrior of a form never before seen in this franchise, but apparently has been seen before?
Sure.
Sure, why not?
In the backstory somewhere.
Yeah, but his retcon into always having been existing now.
Oh, of course.
a Super Saiyan God. So Whis looks up and says, okay, so I can tell you where the possible candidates for this can be. Either on King Kai's planet in the afterlife, or on Earth.
I think he just says on Earth. Did I get that right?
No.
He mentioned the Kai planet too.
He mentioned the Kai. I'm pretty sure he mentioned the Kai
He
planet.
did show up at the Kai planet somehow. So.
Yeah. So they go to Goku first, who's on King Kai's planet, in the afterlife. Again, this is a weird show. And Goku, because Goku is what you might charitably call a fucking idiot, here's the strongest guy in the universe who is called a god of destruction by beings who weren't scared of all these other guys who literally murdered everyone. This guy that is called a god of destruction in a universe where you exist and is scared of him. Goku wants to fight him. Sadly, this is a part of Saiyan biology. They are driven to seek out more fights because of a feature in their biology called the Zenkai boost. Anytime a Saiyan nearly dies, they get a massive power boost. So the more they fight, the more they get hurt, the stronger they get. And this is a kind of an addictive feeling for them. So the more that you fight, the stronger you get. It's why they're a brutal warrior race.
I see.
Okay. So he wants to fight against Beerus. But first they just kind of have a conversation. And again, I like this. It's not the things that I grew up watching Dragon Ball for, but I like it. Beerus is nice. I mean, yes, he kind of a jerk, but he's nice. And Goku actually manages to be semi-polite and requests a fight from Beerus. He's like, no one's ever asked me for a fight before. Okay, I'll do this. What followed for me was so satisfying because... yes, Dragon Ball Z is known for absurd over-the-top power levels. So it's always nice to see someone get humbled in this series. Someone named Goku specifically. Because he gets curb stomped. It's glorious. Beerus takes him out in 2 hits, both of which are basically finger flicks to the forehead. And knocks Goku out for like an hour. Oh, yes. He then says to Whis, okay, well, this isn't working. Well, time to head to Earth.
So I can go find the Super Saiyan God if he's out there.
Okay, and once we get to Earth, it's revealed that right now there's a party going on for Bulma's 5th birthday.
Turns out to be 38th birthday.
She's actually older, but she's lying about her age.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. She's lying about her age. But Bulma is sufficiently scary to cow the Prince of all Saiyans into getting a job, so we're gonna say no one was willing to go against her. So, yeah. King Kai manages to contact Vegeta telepathically saying, hey, dude, Beerus, the god of destruction, is heading straight for Earth. He's looking for Saiyans. So, you might want to do something about that. I don't know. What follows is amusing hijinks and antics. But first we cut away to reveal the Pilaf gang. Apparently they had made a wish on the Dragon Balls that made them young again. And they are breaking into Bulma's house because they found out they've stolen a dragon radar, which allows them to track down the Dragon Balls. The Dragon Balls, as I said before, 7 parts of a wish-making, reality-altering machine.
Which Bulma just has lying around, and they're going to give them out as the top bingo prize.
Again, bingo! A game you can literally win if you are blind, deaf, mute, and a quadriplegic. You can literally win just by selecting things with your tongue, and admittedly, you would need the Dragon Balls for that. But still, a game that requires literally no skill. It's like playing the lottery and they have a tournament? Are you high? Are you mad? So the Pilaf gang break in. Pilaf, a blue demon gremlin thing that's never really expanded upon what the hell he is. But he's blue and he's a child now. Shu, who is an anthropomorphic dog ninja with a sword, who's also a child now. And Mai, a 10-year-old girl who was Bulma's age. And now she's like, child, remember this because it's going to get creepy later. So they break into the prize vault for the bingo tournament. Again, a prize vault that includes a World War I fighter plane, a lifetime supply of ham, an actual goddamn castle, a diamond as big as my head. Now, I will admit that they are pretty funny on their own. Oh yeah, and the Dragon Balls. Forgot to mention the reality-altering super thing. Yeah, so admittedly, they're pretty funny on their own. Like, when Shu... Okay, Pilaf starts to get mad because they're all being distracted by all the prizes that, frankly, should have no place in a fucking bingo tournament. Mm-hmm. I don't know, shuffleboard maybe, but that would at least... shuffleboard would at least require skill.
That'll be the next movie.
Resurrection Shuffleboard. DBS, Dragon Ball Shuffleboard.
Right.
Well, you broke it. Goku, you're disqualified. Damn it! He's just berating them left and right. Finally, Shu holds up a ham and says, I found the ham! It looks like Pilaf is going to get super pissed at Shu, and then he goes, wait, actually, that's pretty good. We have no food, so yeah, grab the ham! Grab the ham! And then Trunks and Goten come in. Not future Trunks. That's in a different arc of Super. This is the one from this timeline. The child of Bulma and Vegeta. And he's with his best friend Goten, the second child of Goku and Chi-Chi. And they ask, what the hell are you doing? We're friends of the kid who lives here. You're not my friends. Shit. So they basically try to steal a Dragon Ball. It doesn't work. Setup is made for a relationship between Mai and Trunks, which is really creepy right now.
I didn't think they were setting up an actual relationship.
Oh, they are.
Oh, really? All right.
Yep, they were.
Okay.
Yep. It becomes more explicit later. Well, not more explicit in that sense, but again, this is like someone who's 40 years old in the body of a 10-year-old girl in a relationship with a 10-year-old.
That is odd, shall we say? We're moving on now.
Yeah, we're going to move on, because like a lot of the normal creepiness of Dragon Ball we can ignore because it's Dragon Ball, but this is just creepy. Mind you, it is pretty awesome in the future Trunks arc of Super, but moving on. Beerus shows up, and he's just here to have a good time. He's looking for Saiyans, he's looking to see that everything's okay, but Vegeta has a flashback to when his pappy, King Vegeta, and yes, everything on planet Vegeta was named for Vegeta. His father, himself, and the planet. His father was used as a footstool by Lord Beerus while Beerus ate everything in the castle. That was actually edible. I'm not talking about him eating the castle. I mean, granted, there are probably a few characters in Dragon Ball who could do that, but still. So he knows exactly how scary Beerus is, and is doing everything in his power to make sure nothing bad happens. He's not very, very successful, but he tries, including getting Satan out of there when he gets drunk and challenges Beerus to a fight.
That's Mr. Satan, for those who are keeping track.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Satan probably...
Actual Satan just showed up, too.
No, there's Devilman, who's like really? A devil, and then there's Dabura, who's king of the demon realm, but I don't think there's an actual Satan in Dragon Ball. Mai, Shu, and Pilaf try to take Trunks hostage with a regular gun in exchange for the Dragon Balls.
Everyone laughs at this.
Okay,
I like that little bit.
Okay, this is just fun. Oh, yes, and everyone thinks they're kidding to the point where Gohan turns into his superhero persona, the Great Saiyaman. This was a thing in Dragon Ball. He pretended to be a superhero, which admittedly is really easy when you can shoot laser blasts from your hands, fly, and are immune to bullets. I mean, that's basically Superman right there. And pretends to get everything taken care of. I mean, like, I am the Great Saiyaman, and children should not be playing with weapons.
And then he actually says to them, "Hey, now shoot me," and panic and empty like the whole clip.
They actually do empty the whole clip because they actually are panicking because, oh crap, we've just stumbled into what is essentially a party full of Kryptonians. And Gohan's wife is shot in this. And Dende, the new Guardian of Earth, because Kami was absorbed by Piccolo, it's a thing. Moving on. And Dende realizes something about Videl, who, by the way, is Mr. Satan's daughter.
Okay.
But we're going to skip on. Just remember that little plot point there. Shockingly, Beerus is not very happy about the fact that people are discharging live ammunition in a party, and that one hit him in the head, but this actually does even less damage to him than, it did to Goku back at the beginning. So he says, well, time to pop this planet. And so Vegeta decided to completely embarrass himself to make the God of Destruction laugh by doing the bingo dance, as it's now infamously known among fans. Basically him dancing in place, chanting "Fun Time Bingo" over and over again. Look, I don't care if you're Vegeta. I don't care if you're doing this to, impress the God of Destruction. There is no one who has ever been that excited about bingo. Ever. Look, this could be for the sake of a reality-altering wish, but no, this is not. There is nothing that impressive about bingo that you would do this dance. Literally, if you started singing Head Chala, Head Chala in the middle of the stage to distract Beerus, I would accept that. But bingo?
That was the whole point. It had to be silly.
Bingo! Also, it turns out that Earth food is super delicious, so Beerus and Whis are just sampling the platters and stuff, and Bulma is totally okay with them being here because, hey guys, look, Vegeta has friends! And everyone's shocked at this. Yeah. Which actually they should be, considering Vegeta is, fucking Vegeta. And then, remember how I said that Majin Buu survives? Buu's an idiot. Because Beerus hears of a dish they call pudding, and he's so worked up about how delicious it sounds that he demands pudding. But Buu has all the pudding. So Buu says, no, screw you, all pudding for Buu, licks all the pudding pudding cups that they have there, and crams it all into his fat gullet. And this is where Beerus decides to destroy the Earth.
Wow.
No, I'm not kidding. He decides to destroy the world over pudding. Mm-hmm. Now, see, I would have waited 5 minutes or gone to somewhere that has pudding instead of, saying, oh, this is the part where we should blow up the Earth. But, I'm weird like that.
I really should have sent someone to a pudding store.
Yeah. I mean, granted, she's like the richest. Bulma and her family are like the richest people in the entire world, but
you think they could afford pudding?
Yeah, I mean, I understand this place was catered by this top-notch chefs and stuff, but yeah, they could have gone to the. I could go down to the 7-Eleven and pick up some pudding, just in a cup. I mean, granted, it wouldn't be that great because it's like cup pudding.
We're gonna get into our pudding review next time.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Dragon Ball's one of the funny things is Team 4-Star, probably the most well-known fan group of Dragon Ball fans on Earth, played Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 recently, and their character they named Puddin'.
Yeah.
Daughter of their character from the first game, Dumplin'. But that aside, so everyone tries to stop him from, blowing up the Earth, and they all get curb stomped. Even Majin Buu, who was the bad guy of the previous arc, though one could very well argue that because Evil Buu had all the power, blah, blah, blah. Even Gotenks from the previous arc, the Buu Saga, who went Super Saiyan 3 against Beerus, he got spanked. Literally spanked by Beerus. Vegeta accepts his death because he tried his best, but he couldn't save the world. Until his wife, Bulma, walks up to him, Beerus, and slaps him for ruining her party. Because this is the priorities of the woman who runs this largest corporation in the world. Hey, I just watched him literally walk through every one of these people who are capable of destroying the solar system. I'm gonna slap him. That will do a thing. It does not. It's one of the funniest moments. She slaps him. He just kind of stares at her for a moment. And then he slaps her. And because he's like a god of destruction, she goes flying. This sends Vegeta into a tantrum rage because, well, his wife was just hit by this cat thing and actually managed to bloody Beerus just a little bit.
Yeah, he actually is somehow stronger than Goku's Super Saiyan 3 all of a sudden.
Yeah, which...
Rage boost, I guess.
Yeah, which is a thing in Dragon Ball, so, You know, that. And then finally... I mean, he still gets his ass kicked in the end. But finally, Goku shows up again and says, like, okay, look, we're here. We, please, don't destroy our planet. Nope, sorry, gonna do this anyway. Unless you can produce the Super Saiyan God that I wanted to fight this whole time. It's like, anyone know anything about Super Saiyan God? No. Okay, crap, we're boned. Wait, then Goku has a pretty good idea. He uses the Dragon Ball wish to wish, oh, what is Super Saiyan God? Which, okay. I mean, it's one of the more imaginative uses of the Dragon Balls in the series. I mean, usually it's just...
Basically, it's the most badass Wikipedia search ever.
Well, I will grant you that's probably the only way they could have. I mean, all the records of the Saiyans were probably either destroyed when Planet Vegeta went up, or, were wiped out by Frieza in order to demoralize any survivors. And it's revealed, okay, you need 5 Saiyans of pure heart channeling their energy. But this turns out to mean you need 6 Saiyans because 5 Saiyans channeling their energy into one more. Which I am glad that they did something. They referenced Tarbal from another special called Yo, Son Goku and His Friends Return. Tarbal is Vegeta's younger brother. Long story short, he showed up. Everyone assumed it was non-canon, except now he is canon. So yay! I liked it at least. Anyways, but it turns out, remember how Dende sent something from Videl before? Turns out that her unborn fetus is Quarter Saiyan. Oh yeah, she has an unborn fetus. I probably should have led with that.
She's pregnant is the normal way you phrase it.
Yeah. Look, I just summed up all of Dragon Ball in like 5 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. And I'm busy trying to summarize this movie. I am forgiven for forgetting the word pregnant.
That's okay.
Which strikes me as needlessly dangerous to the fetus, although you could argue this is one of those, it could be dangerous for the fetus in the future, and we have magical wish orbs to fix any of those problems.
And the alternative is the whole world gets blown up, including that same fetus you're worried about.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Okay, so somehow a fetus is enough to push over the limits and transform him into Super Saiyan God mode. Goku into Super Saiyan God mode.
Yeah, no, not the fetus.
Okay, I'm gonna just ignore it.
I'm just gonna say she becomes Super Saiyan God, right?
Oh god, oh, why did my mind think of that? Oh, no.
That would be interesting if Goku wasn't like the main hero, though, for once. Someone who's not usually a Saiyan at all, just gets all the Saiyan powers. All right, your job now.
Yeah. So anyways, Goku turns into Super Saiyan God, and Beerus is like, well, fucking finally, I've been waiting this whole movie.
He has.
And I have to say, Goku Super Saiyan God form, I like it. It gives him red hair, and it slims down his muscles. He looks a little scrawnier. I like it. It's different. I mean, usually you think of Dragon Ball transformations, you think bigger, bulkier, huger, but it's a nice change of pace. The fight with Super Saiyan God mode is boring.
Look, I did point out to you as we were watching, I was like, okay, they're all throwing each other through mountains and stuff, but haven't they been doing that for like ever since Super Saiyan 1?
No, I mean, more than that, it's just... Okay, you could argue that. They've been doing that for a long time. But at the same time, if done right, that can prove exciting. And I'll get to that in just a few minutes. But the fight where they're like, ooh, you are God form now. And they're just punching each other, but it's kind of slow. And yeah, the choreography's nice, but it's not really impressive. We're not seeing, like, moving faster than sound or, like, launching new key attacks or doing anything really special with the form. It's just...
Well, there's a giant key attack at the end.
Yeah, but that's not even the key... But that's not... He's not in God form at that point.
Yeah, but he's got the same power level as God form because of that weird thing they quickly explained.
Yeah, but I'm just referring to when he's in the red-haired form. I mean, you brought this whole thing up for like the entirety of the movie, foreshadowing this new power, something that would be unrivaled, anything we see before, and it's just kind of lame. But okay, so Partway through the battle, everyone starts following along because they figure this is the stupidest, most dangerous thing to do, is to be close to the rampaging god of destruction and the most powerful being on the planet. This is a smart move. Goku loses the power-up, but he still manages to stay ahead of Beerus's blows by using a technique called instant transmission, which he's been using throughout the movie. Which sort of works, but eventually he just goes plain Super Saiyan, and this is actually the best fight in the movie, in my opinion, because he's... Well, first off, the song... it's like this new song. I really like it. I have it on my iPhone, is playing during it, and it's a really good, pumped-up song, and it's good, and I like it, and the blows are like done at fast speed, and it actually feels like a real fight, and it's well animated, it's got cool music, the attacks they launch are interesting, and they have the auras, and it feels like a real fight. And it all ends in Goku launching a Kamehameha that, like, hits Beerus really hard and stuff. Then eventually Beerus is like, oh, well, okay. You absorbed some of the god power, but and you managed to block my attack that would have destroyed the Earth.
Yeah,
so
that happened.
Good on you. Oh, by the way, I'm not nearly the strongest person ever. I'm just the god of destruction of Universe 7. There's 12 universes, and some of them are way more powerful than me, including Whis over there, who's way stronger than I am. Yeah, Toriyama himself said that Goku would be a 6 when Super Saiyan God form. Beerus would be a 10, Whis is a 15.
Wow.
Yeah, so Whis is kind of awesome. And they kind of bring Goku back to Earth, and they're like, well, sorry, but you didn't beat Beerus, so we're going to destroy the planet anyway. And then they shoot a rock and said, oh, darn, all of my power is gone. I must need some time to recharge and stuff. I will destroy your world, just later and stuff. Bye.
Bye. I mean, it's basically showing respect for Goku's powers.
Yeah, which, once you take the stuff that he says at the... Okay, basically the story's over at that point. Beerus goes back to sleep for 3 years to wake up in time for Resurrection F. Whis brought back some Earth food because apparently Earth food is the most delicious food in the entire universe. Actually, multiverse, really. Given what we learned in Supers. And... story over.
Hey.
What did you think? Because I need a glass of water.
Yeah, I thought I might.
Water!
So... I come at this kind of as an outsider. Like, I know of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And my opinion of it back in the day when it was on TV was, like, I was really into it for all of a couple months, maybe. And then I was like, wait, this is basically the same episode every time. It's fighting harder, and now even harder, and now... But it's interesting to walk into this, and this was ranked the #1 favorite movie by Team 4-Star. It's their favorite DBZ movie. And it's interesting to try to judge it by its own framework. I could see this being a really good DBZ movie. I don't have anything to compare it to, really. I could hear what they said in the review, that Beerus was interesting for being so relaxed, or having such a quirky personality. He could be super threatening, and then super, like, silly, obsessed with pudding, in the next beat. Going back and forth like that. Whis is just hanging around, sampling food while terrible battles take place in the sky. So quirky personalities is an interesting thing. And it's interesting that they managed to fit that into a world that's all about the fighting and the explosions and stuff. If I keep wanting to say DBZ, but really, the Dragon Ball franchise more generally had not had that quirkiness to it, it would not have lasted half as long. If it had all been, I'm badass McGee, and I'm bad, like if everyone had Vegeta's personality, right? That's what you typically do with people that are very powerful. You make them just kind of, tense and surly. And instead we get Goku just being like this happy-go-lucky idiot like half the time, but then he gets like, more serious when he's like Super Saiyan mode and stuff. You got this whole bit. I mean, I love that this movie showed some self-awareness, without being like explicitly, look, we're making fun of ourselves. but it was, okay, we're threatening this dude with a gun, and everyone in the party laughs, because, like, no, everyone here is bulletproof. Like,
I mean, except
we're
for
all
Vidal,
fine, except for Vidal.
Except for Vidal, and, like, there's a few people who aren't.
Right.
Like,
But the point being, there's so many powerful warriors there that people assume, oh, this must be a joke. It's an improv game they're playing with oh, very funny. And the Dragon Balls, I presume, there's been a lot of people searching for them and using wishes and so forth over all these various arcs and different shows. Mm-hmm. So now it's just like, oh yeah, no, we just have them in a box, so we're gonna give them away as a bingo prize. Like, yeah, we've been here before. Like, it's fine, whatever. So that brought some lightheartedness to it or something, which is interesting. They were saying in the review that the Team 4-Star was saying that it was interesting how, Goku gets this extra power from the other Saiyans, and he remarks that he doesn't feel like this is his power. He feels like it's sort of a blow to his pride that he needed someone else to power him up. And this is kind of related to a larger theme about pride. Goku had to give up his pride to become Super Saiyan God. Vegeta had to give up his pride to do the bingo dance.
Yeah, and everything else.
And then, in a way, Beerus gives up his pride by the end by being like, all right, I could totally kill you all, but... fine, I'll just let you go because I feel like it, And actually, there's a second moment there for Goku, too, when he admits, after blocking Beerus' attack, then he goes down to regular Saiyan and says, yeah, you know what? I just totally can't beat you. Never mind. This is impossible. And, okay, so there's a theme in there. That's kind of interesting. At the same time, if I were making this movie, I would have explored that theme much more deeply and... connected it to the major plot points more. I would have done, okay, if Goku has a character flaw where being proud all the time causes him problems. If, say, Beerus was never going to be a threat to Earth, but because Goku goes and challenges him because he's arrogant and wants to be the best, now he angers Beerus, and therefore Earth is threatened, and therefore we have to fight, and therefore by giving up his pride at the end of the fight, which caused the problem at the beginning, now by character development, he is ending the problem, right? Oh, that would be more tied in with the whole plot line and the stuff and the this and the that. But that would be a different version of Goku. That is not just the carefree idiot guy. He doesn't have like a serious character flaw.
He has some pretty serious character flaws, and it does relate back during the franchise. As someone who did watch Dragon Ball back in the day, and okay, first off, yeah, the Dragon Ball had a really big problem with the anime would rapidly overtake the manga, so they didn't want to go forward in the plot arcs and be like, oh, okay, so, and then Goku kills Frieza. Oh, no. Oh, there's like some other stuff. Oh, okay, so we can't do that.
So they had lots of filler, is what you're saying.
They had tons of filler. Tons and tons and tons of filler. Lord, it became a meme. Are they still on Namek yet? Because of how long the Namek saga took in the anime when it really wasn't that long in the manga.
I heard they released DBZ Kai, which is just DBZ without the filler.
Yeah. But yeah, Goku does have problems with pride. But it's more apparent once you take into context the longer thing of the arc. It doesn't really show up as much in this standalone film, but I guess it would be like trying to judge Darth Vader's actions on one film. I mean,
I guess he's scary enough in one film.
Okay, which we will talk about like after we're done with this one.
It's I don't know. Maybe what I'm getting at would kind of interfere with the relaxed vibe that like half the movie runs on or something. But you think about it a little and you're like, okay, so Goku's big deal at the end there is he just admits he can't beat Beerus, and he admits it rather casually when he finally gets to that. He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I gave it everything I got. I can't beat you. And I'm like, okay, as far as you know, he is going to kill everyone you love at this point. Like, are you casual about that, too? And you can feel the movie just being like, don't pay attention to that, people, whatever.
He probably could have instant transmissioned to New Namek and used the Dragon Balls to wish them back, so...
I guess, but if that was the implication, that's not what I got out of it.
Yeah, fair point.
And true with this bit of they're kind of like friends with Beerus by the end, like not like super buddy, but like, oh sure, yeah, we'll fight again in 3 years. Okay, cool. He's like an acquaintance now, and he apparently blew up Planet Vegeta.
He did not.
I mean,
told Frieza to do.
Okay,
so.
whatever. He's a villain in that sense, but this series runs on a certain logic of like, you know what? It's okay. All the villains turn into good guys anyway. You're not supposed to worry about the real moral calculus of these things. They have their motivations. They have a cool fight. Then they change them around and they're friends again. Whatever. Move on.
Fair point. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it though, because like that's again judging the franchise by its own rules. That is a rule that has been established for the longest time now. Is like this is how we approach moral calculus in things. Everything's kind of loose as needs to be. So yeah, that's just my thoughts there as kind of an outsider type. I would be interested in seeing, some of the other Dragon Ball movies on that list and see how they compare in my mind, and what else on that front. The fight was cool. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, as you said again, but giving the quirkiness to villainous characters, to make them foodies, for instance, really, really happy to find what sushi is and all that. It was again sort of a self-awareness type of thing. Because in a regular show, if you have someone scary, you have your Palpatine, you have your Vader, as you were saying, you don't give them anything quirky that would take away from the scary. But this is like, it's more relaxed than that. They can have quirky things. It actually makes it more interesting.
Which
you go.
Yeah, a lot of the Dragon Ball Z villains, both in the series and in the movies, they don't really have a whole lot of quirkiness.
Right, well, the rest of the series has some... Goku's got his quirkiness. So
yeah.
This is a villain taking some of the quirkiness that was already in the series as a whole and bringing it into the villain side of things, which makes it new for the long-time viewer.
I think it's the Toriyama influence. He tends to do really weird stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, original Dragon Ball was a lot weirder than Z. Z tended to take itself a lot more seriously than original Dragon Ball, which was basically martial arts comedy. Yeah, you had things like King Piccolo killing people, or King Piccolo taking over the world and releasing every murderer onto the streets. He did that. But you also had the Pilaf gang doing wacky hijinks in the background. You had the Red Ribbon Army's secret motivation for getting the Dragon Balls being that Commander Red, their leader, all he wants is to be tall. That's it. That's why he wants the Dragon Balls. Not to take over the world, but to be tall. You have Goku and Krillin looking for hot girls to bring to Master Roshi because he says that's the only way he'll train them is if he brings them a date.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, he's really super fucking creepy. But what span out of the... So it's nice to see a return to the more relaxed attitude of the original Dragon Ball and Toriyama's almost signature style of being a little weird, but in a good way that manages to combine with a humorous atmosphere and a serious one.
Yeah, that is an interesting trick they play. There's not a lot of shows have that much silliness and that much deadly seriousness at the same time, or within the same, storyline.
And it can work, but it can also hurt at times. Dragon Ball Supers is a show that spun out of this, as I said before, the first 16 episodes recap. This movie and Resurrection F, the sequel. But it has since had 2 arcs since then. First is the Universe Tournament arc, which is Beerus's twin brother. Already, I'm deeply facepalming when I hear that.
Is he also a god of destruction?
Yes.
Of a different universe?
Universe 6.
I see.
And who is basically Beerus but fat. And his assistant, Vados, who is Whis' older sister.
Okay.
Okay, just accept it. Every so often they meet with Beerus and... Okay, Champa is the guy's name. Champa and Beerus will meet to... So, okay, this is the most delicious food in my universe.
Oh, Champa like eating. I get it.
No. It's Champa like champagne.
Ah, never mind.
Because of the alcohol name theming. And don't ask what Vados is for. It's from some drink that I've never heard of in my life.
Vodka?
No.
No.
That was my first thought, but no. It's not. It's something else. Anyways, and Champa realizes, oh my god, this Earth food is the best I've ever tasted. Vados, let's go to Earth, of our universe. Oh, sorry, they wiped each other out like 400 years ago. Shit! Well, I guess the solution is now obvious. Find these new things called the Super Dragon Balls, which are planet-sized, and then wish the Earth from Universe 7 into Universe 6.
You couldn't just visit the Earth in Universe 7.
I know, that would seem to be my obvious solution, but I don't know. Maybe this is a universe where Donald Trump won and they built a wall around reality. I mean, he's already
Building a wall around reality. That's an apt metaphor.
Yeah, it really is.
Ha. Okay.
But anyways, so they gather up the strongest warriors of that universe and this universe, and they fight it out.
Why are they fighting? I thought we wanted the Super Dragon Balls.
Yeah, they found the last one. There's 3 in each. 3 in Universe 6 and 3 in Universe 7. There's one missing, and only, like, Vados knows where it is. But she's just like, dude, my boss is an idiot. So, here's how it's going to go. There's a tournament. If Universe 7 wins, they get to keep Earth the way it is. If Universe 6 wins, Earth goes to, Universe 6. And they fight, and they fight, and they fight. Stuff happens. It's an okay arc. It introduces the ruler of the multiverse, King Zeno. It introduces evil Frieza from another universe.
Was Frieza not already evil?
Okay, well, it appears like he's the good version of Frieza. Except it turns out that he's actually worse because he pretends to be a good guy while secretly funding evil things so that his forces can come in and save the day.
Huh. Interesting.
Yup. Also, Saiyans are a thing there. I mean, like, Planet Vegeta was destroyed, but there's, like, Saiyans that still live in Universe 6 on a different world. Moving on. And then the Future Trunks arc, which is probably, from what I've heard, one of the best arcs. And here's what I mean when I say Goku being lighthearted can be a burden. He screws up a lot in this arc. Basically, Trunks from the future comes back because it turns out that he didn't come from the future, but from a different universe that was also in the future. I don't know and I don't care. But Future Trunks comes back and the future is in shit shape. I mean, more so than when the androids were ruining the future. Because it turns out that a god has stolen Goku's body and is trying to wipe out all mortals everywhere. Yeah, Goku actually makes things worse a lot of times. Like, he nearly kills Goku Black, but doesn't kill him so that Goku Black gets the Zenkai boost. Or they try to use the evil containment wave, which is a technique from original Dragon Ball, but Goku consistently forgets stuff or accidentally breaks things, meaning that they can't just end the arc in 30 seconds.
Dang.
Yeah, so as long as lightheartedness is kept right level, yeah. So I don't really have anything else to say about Dragon Ball Battle of Gods. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good Dragon Ball movie, as I said, within the rules of the way that universe works. Except for those 3 Pilaf gang people getting too much screen time. I agree with that critique from the Team 4-Star group.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It was fun when they got to the part with the gun and stuff, but up to then it was a little like, well, I'm just waiting for this to be over. So
dude, I liked their scenes and I still thought that, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think we have anything else to say, so
Okay.
I'm Sith King.
And I'm Songsense.
We're signing off.